Good morning.
Good morning.
I didn't know anybody would be on here yet. We start at 9:30, so
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, of course, technology worked for me and I didn't want to be late.
exactly. Me too. Can you guys see a screen? My command screen? Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Wait just a couple more minutes. There's a couple more people getting on here, so just a couple more minutes and we'll get started.
Good morning.
I see that the weather down there is pretty warm, huh?
It is. It's supposed to get into the 70s today, and it's just crazy. You know, we'll go from 40s to to 70s, but
Yeah,
that's Charlotte.
yeah. Well, that's up here too. So
Where are you?
I'm in Ohio.
Oh, okay. I lived there for a couple of years, so yes.
Oh, did you where?
Yeah, right out of college. In Fairfield, suburb of Cincinnati. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a couple of years though, because it gets cold there, and there's a lot of snow. My bones weren't used to that.
I know. This is where I grew up. I grew up in Canton, Ohio.
In Canton, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Canton, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I
From a business perspective, but yeah, I had
yeah,
to travel
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Well, no, I moved here. We moved back.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
I know we're crazy, but we did it just to be closer to family.
That's not crazy at all.
It's yeah. But anyway, here I am. So, but we're liking it. The way we have no snow on the ground. We've only seen snow once, and it's in the 40s and 50s, which is quite warm for up here. So,
How long have you been back?
just a couple weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, so now you get to see me via Zoom, and I'm doing the compliance orientation. And I believe this is all new to me from this end. So usually Liz is here to help me get through setup and all that. So I hope I did it right. I hope you all are seeing my screen for command. And if you're not, let me know. Okay. I will assume everybody can see it. So this is what I do. And like the commercial says, all day, every day. I don't know if you know that commercial. But anyway, this is what I do. And what I just do, I check everybody's files to make sure that they are in compliance with the laws. You saw that little message from Sabra. We're trying to keep you out of real estate jail. So I just check your files, and I might send you a note to correct something or add something. And I just consider those love notes. So don't worry if you have a note or if a file was returned. The only way when you have to worry about it is after closing, of course. So that's why there is a law that says you have to submit your files to the market center, and it's through command, obviously, within 3 days of the signing of the working with real estate agents and either the buyer's agency agreement or the listing agreement. So make sure you submit those within 3 days of them signing, just so we have them on file. So in case we get audited, we can pull those up from through command, and then we can prove that they've been submitted. So that's why that's important. Now, your files will be rejected or returned. You'll get a little red thing and it'll say returned. But I usually write a note that says, your files, the documents you submitted, which would be the working with real estate agent and the buyer or listing agreement, are approved. But I had to return the file because of the missing the rest of the documents. Okay, so let's, does anyone have any questions on that right now? Okay. I'll go through one of these. This one I've already gone through, but I review it. She's changed a thing or two, and that's because I had rejected a couple documents or told her one was missing. So she's changed it. First thing I do is go in here, and if you're doing a buyer's agency, you'll see this consultation folder, and it has just a couple things in there. Don't use that. You can put anything you want in there, just don't submit it for review, because it's totally not necessary for me to review that, okay? So please don't submit that one for review. However, you want to go in the under contract. This is a buyer's agency. And you can see that there's a couple of lots of placeholders, okay, on here, but they you can see the ones that I've approved already. Here's the one that she updated. And then she left me a note and it said extension. Okay. I don't know what that said. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So if she's updated something, I'll go back in and see what she did to update it. And obviously it's slow. And I think since this is a little different font, she probably added that date. On these, you want to fill in every blank. If there's nothing to put in there, put NA in your files. That way it can't be, the seller or the buyer or whoever can't add anything in there. Okay, so if there's a blank space, it should be NA. Okay. And I'll make sure it's the 2022 forms for now. Okay, those will update probably in August. Okay. But you have to make sure they're the correct, the updated forms, or I'll return them. Okay, and then everybody has signed. And what I do is just check for anything in here, especially if you're new. I'm going to really return every little thing because I want you to learn how to do it the correct way. Okay. And Sabre does as well. So I'm just going to go through here and then make sure everything's signed and dated and everything's included. And when it is, then I'll approve it. And then you won't get any notifications. Okay, so this is all approved now. If there's something that isn't, you saw on this little thing, this little green box, this means she wrote something. If it's a little red box there next to this title, then that's a note that I left you for that document. And I'll leave you a note that says what's wrong and where to reference that at. So we're in the document. If it's page 5, I'll say page 5, number whatever. And then you just correct it from there, okay? So basically that's what I do. I don't have now, this updated, but I don't have a message right now. But if there's a message, if I have sent you a message, it'll be here. It'll say add comment. Okay. And this is pretty much what I'll say. Please replace the rejected document per note. And then just correct the document. Okay. When you see that, I think that comes through your email. Okay. Your KW email. And then when you see that, you'll go along here and what's been rejected, what's been returned. And then you'll see that little note here, okay? Just hover over that and you can read what's wrong. Then you can go back to your DocuSign or dot loop or whatever you use, correct the document, and then reload it right onto here. So you don't need to add another placeholder to replace it. If you click, you see these three little, this box with three little dots in it. If you click there, you can click update. And then what will happen there is you'll put the new corrected document in there, okay? And then that'll replace this one, okay? You'll still have it in your DocuSign, so if you need to reference anything, you'll still have that one in DocuSign, but it won't be here, okay? Only the corrected ones should be here. So that's how you update these. Okay, so don't add another placeholder. Okay. So the offer to purchase is in here. See all these requirements. And see all these ones that say required. There's several of them. Okay. Anyway, all the required ones is like your checklist. So any title, any placeholder that says required, it's required. You need to put it in there to complete your file. Okay. Conditional means obviously if you have a referral agreement, you'll need to put that in there. Okay. Obviously, this is also kind of conditional or optional. If the offer to purchase says that there is checked that there's an additional provisions addendum, then I will look for that down here. Okay, so all these ones that you use, you have to fill in, but the ones that say required are the ones that will complete your file. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions? Okay. I have to keep looking at the chat. All right. So a lot of times this receipt of monies, due diligence and the earnest money, a lot of times people have those on two separate forms. One goes to the attorney for the earnest money and one goes to the seller for the due diligence. So how do you either combine them through however you combine them through your computer, and then you can put that file in there, or a lot of times people will just keep them separate. So what do you do with that second document? You click up here. Right up here is three big dots. If you click on those, you'll see add document. Okay. So you would add the document, name the document. So if you have the earnest money in the placeholder, you want to add the due diligence, you put the due diligence acknowledgement. Okay. Type that, and then the document type can be whatever. You can put addendum for everything. I don't care. This one really doesn't matter. And then you would browse your files and add the document. Or if you have it through DocuSign, you can, it'll say DocuSign on there, and you can add it through there. Then you upload that document and save it. So what will happen is once you hit save, it'll scroll all the way to the bottom, and that's where that document's added. Okay. So I definitely, if I see only one of these, through everything when I do the compliance, I scroll to the bottom of the page to make sure you haven't added anything else. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of this agreement to amend and the due diligence request in here in this file in the under contract folder. It doesn't belong there. Those are more for attorneys to look at. So you have to, that goes into the closed folder. And you'll see the placeholders for them. Okay. So if you don't see a placeholder for something, look in the other files, look in the closed folder to make sure there's not a placeholder, because that's where it belongs, in here. If the under contract one, don't add it, okay? Because I'll reject that and say it belongs in the closed folder, okay? Okay, now, so you've got that. So the required documents are listed. And then the conditional ones, of course, if it's this conditional, just hover over that little I, which is I guess it's for information, and it'll tell you when you need it, okay? If the house obviously was built prior to 1978, you would need the lead-based paint. Okay, now, that you see all these things that say DS. Why does that say DS? It's because it means they're in DocuSign. Those forms are in DocuSign. So, obviously you can get page 16, which is the receipt of monies from the offer to purchase, which is in DocuSign. So that's kind of easy. The other ones, obviously the copy of the MLS you wouldn't put in, you don't get them from DocuSign. Okay. The ones underlined here, if they're underlined, this is pretty much an office form. And well, this one is the septic and sewer. If you click on the underlined ones, it'll pull up a blank document, which is kind of convenient for some of them, because then you don't have to go searching for it. But then you could either download it or print it and then fill it out. And since we're on the septic and sewer and water discovery form, let's go over that because I have to return this a lot. The property address, make sure you fill that out. I get a lot of that, but it's not even on there. You want to put your initials by what you have verified. Okay, so it won't go, your initials won't go in every little area here. Okay, if it's on city water and sewer, this is where you would initial. You verified it either by attaching a recent utility bill, or you called if it's in Charlotte, you can call 311, or you can you call the county or the city utility. Okay, and then you're gonna check as of what date you called, who did you speak to, and which provider. So if you called Union County Utilities, put Union County Utilities there, okay? Or Union County Water, put Union County Water. And then you verify by either checking that it is available or not available, and it is or isn't connected. This is water and this is sewer, okay? And then you're done. You just sign that form. If you're the listing agent, you sign it and that's it. If you're the buyer's agent, you sign it and then your buyer signs it. Okay? If the property is like a townhome or something and the HOA has covers that, then you would put the community water is or is not connected, and the same with the sewer. Again, which date did you call? Who did you speak to? And if it's a utility provider, it could be the HOA. So then you would put the HOA name. Okay.
Okay,
And
I'm
then
sorry.
you
So,
just, okay, go ahead.
Yep, my apologies for interrupting.
That's okay.
For some reason, I don't know if it's on my end or if it's yours, but you were breaking up a little bit, so I just kind of want to re-verify that. So you're saying if it is townhome, condo, whatever, where the HOA is responsible, we just need to verify it with the HOA and then list them as the utility provider. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, you verify
Okay.
with the HOA, and then just put the HOA name in the utility provider area.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sometimes the HOA covers the water, or even the city would cover the water, but it's on septic. So you verify that the water is connected through the city up here. And then under sewer connection, it's not available through the city and not connected through the city. So then you have to put you have to check or initial one of these. You've got a copy of the septic permit provided by the seller or whoever. You've attached it, okay? And then shows how many bedrooms. And notice that says the MLS listing must match that number, okay? So you cannot, that's a misrepresentation if you put a different number. Let's say they've added a bedroom, but the septic permit only says 3 bedrooms. Well, you better put 3 bedrooms in the MLS. Okay. And then just whichever one is appropriate. Sometimes I've seen agents initial here with that they have requested a copy of the permit. And then later on, they've got it, so then they have to initial here that the copy of the permit has been obtained, and you have to attach the copy. Okay, especially this one, if a copy of the permit is not available, sometimes it's a little older. And I don't know how far back the permits go, but sometimes they're not available. So then you would put not available per who did you speak to, and which department, which county, on what date. So make sure you do that. Sabre gets a lot of these that there's litigation going on several of them that they've been misrepresented. The seller will say, no, we're on city water and sewer. Well, I mean, it has happened that they're on septic and well. It's like, why did the seller didn't know any better? So I don't know how, but they just didn't. Anyway, so you need to do that due diligence, your own due diligence, and verify that. Okay. So if the copy is attached, if you want to attach it to this document, that's fine. Otherwise, oh, she doesn't have it. So if it's verified and you have a copy of it, like I said, either attach it to this or add the document here. Add a document, name it septic permit, and you can put addendum and then upload it and save it. If I see that you've checked or initialed that the copy is attached, I'm going to look for that copy. Okay. So all this title insurance selection form, affiliated business disclosure, does everybody know what that's about?
No.
No, okay. So title insurance selection form is through Heritage Title, which you've heard probably numerous times. We have a business relationship with them. Okay, so once we have a business relationship with someone, even kind of, I don't know if it's monetarily or ownership type of deal, which I believe this is, then you have to disclose that to your client. And then they don't have to pick heritage title, but you have to give them this form, okay? And you acknowledge that you received a copy of the notice required by the RESPA, disclosing that Valentine has an title interest in the title agency, okay? So they can they have to choose one of these, that they can choose heritage title, they can choose a different title insurance, and they can choose the closing attorney or closing agent. So most of what I'm seeing is that they've checked this one. And because usually the closing attorney has their own title agency that they use. So they would just put the closing attorney and then have them sign it, date it, and then I don't know why the current mailing address is on there, but just your name on here. Okay. But you have to give them that option. So it's as simple as that. Make sure their name's up here and the property that they are purchasing. And then the affiliated business disclosure is the same thing. You're just telling them that has a 10% ownership. There it is at Heritage Title, and that Title Gold, I guess, is the same thing. Okay, so this is a RESPA law that you have to, anytime you're affiliated with a business in any way, you have to disclose that. And then have your buyers sign and date. That's with every buyer you have, they have to do that. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about that?
So Carla, for the business disclosure,
Yes.
I know you said for every business. So for example, where we have our vendors corner, where we have different like home inspectors, plumbers, electricians, blah, blah. Would we also do it for that scenario as well? Or is it just more so for like title companies?
No, it's for this particular title company.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Because we have an ownership interest in that company, meaning
Oh,
Keller
okay. I
Williams
missed that part.
Valentine, has invested into this, into the heritage title.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. So the vendor corner is something that is totally different.
Yeah. Okay. And then I have one other question that I put in the chat.
Sure.
So where you show in the screenshot here, the DS for DocuSign, how does that happen? Is there something that we have to click on? Does it automatically do it some way? How does that DS icon notation show up?
It'll be in your documents, in your opportunities.
Okay.
Okay. Now, it's just telling you that you can find those in there. There are several ways you can find the documents. Through here, you can go to the NAR site, or you can go to zip forms. So a lot of times in South Carolina, for sure, there's not documents in DocuSign, or it's hard to find. I'll go to zip forms through the Matrix. If you open up your MLS into Matrix and then go to the resources, you can find zip forms, and it's I believe it's the same login. Excuse me. Same login as your MLS, that you can. All the forms are in zip forms, and then I just download them from there. But yeah, so if you you start your transaction, you make the opportunity, then you go into DocuSign, and I don't know if I can do this here. you go into DocuSign and make a room for that transaction, right? Have you guys done any transactions yet?
I have not.
No.
What was the question, Carla?
Have you guys done any transactions?
I just finished my first one on this past Friday.
Oh, yes. Yes, and you did very good on your
Thank you.
compliance. Yeah, so you go into, I can't log into DocuSign for some reason. But anyway, all of your forms are in DocuSign and in a specific room. Okay, so that means you have to, once all those forms are signed and dated and everything else is complete, my one advice in DocuSign, excuse me, once you have a completed form that's all signed by both parties, make a kind of right click on that form and rename it so that you know which one to pull up in your opportunity. Okay, because I see a lot of ones that they aren't signed by the seller or nothing is signed. Because in DocuSign, in DocuSign, all the forms are kept in there. So you have a blank form, you have a buyer signed form, and then you have both signed forms. So there's 3 different ones in there, and then any other corrections that have been made, those are in there too. So you have to make sure you get the right one. So if you right click on the form in DocuSign and rename it, you'll know, like just say fully executed or completed or, it's good to go or something, whatever it is that you want to name it, something to distinguish it, because when you go in here, you're going to, if you go and then upload all the documents, you're going to upload, see how where it says attach files from? So it can be either from, it'll be either from the computer that you've uploaded in your computer, or it'll say DocuSign forms. Let me see if I can go back into some of mine. They've recently updated this command. I hope you guys are going to Leah and Jules's classes, because they're always updating this. I don't know why my computer is. Well, it's a little slow. Oh my goodness. Are you guys hearing me okay?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay. Figures. There we go. All right, so in my documents, so this is exactly what you guys see when you open yours. Okay, so if I wanted to add something else to this document, you would go, I want to look into, see how it says DocuSign there? It's either computer or DocuSign. And then your working folder is the room docs. Okay. So if I had something like this, it's pulling up all of my documents that I have in that room. You see that? So which one is the correct one? See all these, the listing agreement. Here's another one, signed, and then signed again. So you have to make sure that if you name it a little bit differently, you'll know which one to upload in there. Okay. Does that make sense? So that's how you pull them from the room. Your room will be kind of connected. If you're brand new and you don't have any documents in there yet, go to transactions. That'll send you right over to DocuSign. You'll have to log in, same login, I believe, as command. So, okay. So if you'll notice up here, I got a note from someone and it says 1. Now this is new too, because it used to just have the little red dot there, but you have a note. So you kind of, once you open your command, and you should be doing that frequently, especially when you're having a transaction, because if you submit documents and something's wrong, you need to keep up with this, because if I've checked something and returned it, you'll have a note here. Okay. So if you see that there's a little message thing here, you just click on that. And I don't know why I don't have it lied to me. So usually it'll say a note, and then it'll say view message, and then you'll view that message. If you click on that view message, it'll take you right to your opportunity. So for those of you who have multiple opportunities going at once, oh, here we go. And then, so I'm going to view this message. And if you look at that, it should take me right over to it. And my computer is very slow today. I don't know why. It must be cold. But anyway, it'll take me right to that opportunity. And then I can see what he meant by his message. Wow, this is the slowest it's been. It figures, huh? So see the message, same message popped up. And he obviously, when you send me a message, make sure that you click the @ buttons. Read this, use an @ symbol to mention an individual and send a notification. Make sure you send it. So if you click here and click your @ it brings up the list of people. So you should be able to, now obviously my name's not on there because it's me sending the message. So, but you guys will see my name. So if I want to send a message to him, I'll click his name and then it'll come up, then you type your message. That's when that message will go on to his command. Okay, so make sure you click that @ button first. Otherwise, we won't see those messages. None of us will until we happen to bring up your opportunity, and it might be too late. Okay, so we're sending these two first, working with real estate agent, buyer agency agreement, then you're submitting it. It'll say submit, okay? That'll go on to my queue to be able to read it. Otherwise, so when I'm doing this, see how it says submitted and returned? And I always click changed as well. If you don't submit it, it's going to be an open status, which I don't look at because there's 2,467 of them, and I'm not going to look at all those. So I'm only going to look at the ones that you've submitted, resubmitted, or changed. Okay. So if before closing, you haven't submitted anything And then we get the closing check and nothing's been submitted. I look over, I'll search for your opportunity, and if it says open, then I'll review it all. Because that's how you get paid. You have to have all your documents in and correct. Then after closing, you're gonna have to scramble and try to get your buyer and or seller to sign something or complete something, and they don't like that, and that's not very professional. So I would definitely, you've submitted your documents the first 3 days after signing. All the other ones you want to submit at least 7 days before closing. Okay, because that gives me time to review it and send it back to you if something needs changed, and you can change it all prior to closing. Okay. You definitely want to do that prior to closing so you don't look like a fool trying to get somebody to sign something or fill something out after closing. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
And I've had
Yeah.
to do that a lot. It's like, okay, you didn't even, do this, the property disclosure. So you need to get that, and it's already closed. So you don't want to fall into that category. Okay, so at least 7 days before closing, you want to do that. Make sure all your documents are completed and submitted. Now, you saw the checklist, this checklist in your command, in your opportunity, the checklist. If you want it on paper, you could also find that at KWB Resources. Let me see if I can. And
Hey, Carla, I have a question whenever.
yeah,
So you know how sometimes you have a client that will make offers on multiple properties and you end up with a bunch of rooms for them.
yeah.
And then once you close on something, for all those extra rooms, is it right that I just archive those?
Good
The rooms
question.
in DocuSign? Because I didn't know if like the market center, say like some complaint came up later and the market center had to go back and look at those documents. Archiving them doesn't delete them, right? I'm just putting them away
Right.
so I don't have to look at them all the time.
Right. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't think it would be a problem. You mean if the offer wasn't accepted?
Yeah, like for all the
Yeah.
rooms where my offers weren't accepted and we moved on to a different property, like there's just a bunch of rooms open for this one client and
Yeah. You could have kept them all. Yeah, I would archive it.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, that might be a question also for Leah and Jules, just because I'm not sure if you would have another room for another property. I don't know if it's
Oh,
room per client or room per property.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So you could have multiple documents in there from multiple offers, but check with them. I'm not sure how that one works.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so you all I hope you're familiar. Oh, why didn't that do that? Can you see the Keller Williams Valentine?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you can see that, okay. Okay, so I hope you all are familiar with this website. This is our obviously our personal website. But you can
Yes.
find a lot of forms in here from office documents, like the septic and sewer is a Keller Williams Ballantyne exclusive document. South Carolina doesn't require a professional services disclosure, but Sabre requires it. So it's included in here, okay? So how do you get to it? You go to Office Resources, Forms and Checklists. And then you have to put, since it's our forms exclusively, we need to have a password to get into it. That password is capital B, AMC 350. And then click. There you go. Okay, so now we have the forms. There's South Carolina forms, general forms, and office checklists. Now, if you want a hard copy of the checklist to, if you like checking things off, like I do, you can click on the office checklists, and it'll come up, and it gives you every type of checklist you need. Maybe. So North Carolina buyer sale checklist, if you want that, or the North Carolina listing has all those, okay. Okay, so here you'll see it in writing. First step, submit for review and command within 3 days of the contract effective date. This is this sale. This is actually a listing sale. So this, let me go get a different one. I just get how slow this is.
Hey, Carla, while that's working, I want to make sure I capture the password to get out there correctly. So
Okay.
BAMC 350, all lowercase.
No, the B is capitalized.
So the B is capitalized. So
Yeah.
BAMC 350. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes. Yep. All right. I don't know what that is. Oh my goodness. I will promise I'll get to it. Okay, here's the listing. So you want to do this one within 3 days. Okay, the first submit. This shows a lot more, like the MLS data sheet as well, but make sure you have at least these first two, the working with real estate agent and the listing agreement. If you're using firm exclusive or coming soon, make sure those are in there as well. Okay, and then the second step here, submit for review no later than 7 days before closing. That's all the other documents. Showing
Carla?
time. Yep.
I have a quick question. So I've been asked by other agents, and I don't know if I answer them properly, but when you submit, when it says the first 3 days, you have to submit your working with real estate agents and your agency, was it the agency agreement at the same time?
Yes.
When you say submit, really you're saying just upload them, right? Because you don't actually want us to hit the submit button for those, do you? I think the last one I submitted mine, it was like, it got, I think maybe you said you don't have to do that, like just upload them, or can you clarify?
No, you should submit them for review.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so submit those for review. within 3 days. That way we can see them to make sure that they're correct. Okay. And then what will happen, like I said, I'll return the whole file, but I'll let you know that the documents you did submit are approved or whatever. And if I say, replace the rejected document, you'll know one of those was rejected.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So again, within 7 days before closing, you want to submit all the other files, okay, that are appropriate. And then at closing, obviously, you want to submit everything else. Your closing file, if it's a listing, you're going to do your closed MLS and your KWLS. The closing statement should be signed by both parties. And at least one of those, if you're a buyer, a lot of times the attorney won't give you the seller's disclosure that has the commissions on it. If you can get that and submit it, that helps us out a lot. So, but they both need to be signed by your client as well. This is pretty, well, what should I say? So this one, this is the listing, okay? So all of these documents are in the closed folder. Due diligence, agreement to amend, and stuff like that. Any questions? So that's a good little resource to follow along as well. For getting your, here we go, general forms. Getting your files together, it's good to follow around on that checklist or in the command checklist. Okay, so that's the general forms. Also, office document is a lot disclosure, which is if you're selling land. Here's the sample forms that you need to give to your clients. If you're doing a referral or if you have a referral coming, here's our KW or W9 for the office. Oh, here's, yeah, 2023. So a lot of these are good to have. Oh, here we go. All right, so the septic and sewer is in there. Like I said, the lot disclosure, referral forms. Here's the heritage title ones. That's where you can find those forms, okay? Any questions? What are you seeing? Anything? Are you still seeing that same thing?
The shared drive office forms, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Let me see if I can do this. Let me share. Now are you seeing command again?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Learned something. Okay. I'm not technology oriented. Oh, okay, so since the last 5 minutes, just let me go over a couple of forms that drive me crazy because I'm always returning them. And just so you know, especially in a listing agreement, when you fill out the listing agreement, You have to put down a date that it goes live, right, in the MLS. So I'm gonna look here. And it's gonna come up. I won't go through the whole thing because that's what you do in your transaction partner. They go over the whole thing, but I do want to point out, make sure the dates are correct. So a lot of times, excuse me, I'm seeing like 2022 dates for expiration dates. Oops, common mistake. But on page 5 of the list of the listing agreement, he didn't do it. The commencement of marketing date. Okay, the firm is authorized to commence marketing on the property as described below on this date, 2/21. Okay, firm is obligated to present the seller any offers to the property that may be submitted prior to the marketing date, obviously. So 2/21. So as below, so this is it. The seller authorizes the firm as follows. So he's checked all of these. Internet advertising other than the internet, open houses and signs, okay? So he did not check coming soon, meaning he's not using coming soon. So this date on the commencement of marketing will be the date that it goes active in MLS. Okay. Let's say he had a date down here of 2/28. So a week later, he put a date down here and he checked coming soon, and he put a 2/28 date. Okay. So this date is the date that you put it in MLS as coming soon. Okay. So and then this date is when the status of the listing shall be changed to active on 2/28. Okay. So if you were using coming soon, the commencement of marketing date is always going to be before the active date, because you're marketing it as coming soon on 2/21. You're going to market it as active in the MLS on 2/28. Does that make sense? So he's not using coming soon. The commencement of marketing date is the date that it goes active in the MLS. And I check it. So of 2/21, that's why I have my little, as Lynn calls it, my little ticker board. I have a piece of paper that I write down dates so I can match them up. So in the MLS, I'm going to check to make sure that he put the right date. So here it is. And it's that address. It says active, market date is 2/21. So that's correct. Okay. And that's what you have to do. Those dates have to match up. Okay. Any questions on that? I get a lot. I mean, I have a team that puts the same date in both of these places. So 2/21 and 2/21. I have to return it every time for the same thing. So please learn that, because it gets really redundant to have to return that each time. I mean, I know when they come up, it's like, well, I know I'm gonna have to return it for at least one thing. So make sure you do that. This date is, if it's not coming soon, this is the active date. If it is coming soon, this is the coming soon date. Because you're starting to market it as coming soon. Okay? Is that clear, or is it, I don't know how to make it any more clear. Do you all understand that?
So you're saying it's either the coming soon date or it's the active marketing date,
Correct.
but not the date that we signed the contract, not the date, any other dates,
Nope.
just those two.
Yes. You're marketing it in the MLS on that date. So it could be like a week after you've signed this agreement. And that kind of, because if no dates are in there, then it's going to be within 24 hours of the date that they signed this contract. So 2/20, 2/21. Regardless, put the date in the commencement of marketing. Okay. Even if it is within 24 hours, put that date in there. And remember in the back, this is the last page, this is buyers and sellers. Make sure you have their signature and the date that they signed for sure. And then they have to have your email, or not the seller's email, the phone number, and your current mailing address. Okay. So especially with buyers, make sure it's the buyers before they've purchased the property. Where do they live? This is for in case there's some kind of question or some kind of litigation type of thing that Sabra needs to get a hold of them. She can just look here and it's right there. So all three of those need to be on here. Okay. And this is correct, the way he did it. The firm phone number is the 887-6600. Okay. And our license number is C13291. And then his agent phone number is there. Okay. Any questions? I think I covered most of it.
No questions for you, Carla. I'm just glad you're here because I have a lot of anxiety about, my first transaction and making sure
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
get everything right. So it's just comforting knowing your function is here. I do
Yes.
have a question for Angela, if that's okay. And I know it's at the bottom of the hour and don't want to belabor it any longer, but since she just completed her first transaction, just curious to see if she could give just a little bit of feedback about how all of that went, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And I'm not sure if she heard my question. Angela, are
Angela?
you still here?
Oh, Angela, you're on there.
She may have.
What's that?
okay.
Say again.
There you go.
Yeah. She wanted to know how your first transaction went.
Oh, it went well. It was just, it took a while because it was an investor client and she kept putting in really low offers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But yeah, so it gave me a lot of practice filling out contracts. I mean,
Mhm.
offers.
Yeah.
So that was good. That was a good part about it. And we just closed Friday, so it's great.
Well,
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
That's
you. Thank you
exciting.
so much. Yeah, it was. Thank you. And thank you, Carla, for the session. It's good.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Ditto.
And anytime you guys need me, I'm just a phone call away. So just give me a holler if you run into problems. But yeah, just continue on.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're
All right,
welcome.
have a great day, everyone.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. You sleepy, Pumpkin? Are you sleepy?